Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime Making 3, and today I'm going to be giving you part 14 of What If Naruto Universe Had Quirks. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new series I posted over on Anime Making 2 of What If Godlike Naruto was sent to a parallel universe, and enjoy that guys. And yes, I indeed have 4 channels which I post What If on every single day for you guys to enjoy. Anime King, Anime King 2, Anime King 3, and Anime Prince. All the links will be down in the description, so go ahead check them out and yeah, enjoy. And don't forget to turn on the bell notification to see exactly when I post, because I do post a lot. So without further ado, what do you say we jump right into this? Begin now guys. So the last spot we left off, it was time for him to humiliate and break Menma. Making his way down there, Kushina was not pleased to see both boys looking at each other with such an intense look. Through her entire life, the Uzumaki members when she was younger, and when she had came to Konoha after Uzumaki destruction, she was told that she was special because of her quirk. She was praised, so she did not even consider neglecting her son one bit when she was not paying any attention to him because he did not possess a quirk. It was how she was raised, which made her an extremely bad mother, focused on other two and leaving Naruto to fend for himself. But that made him stronger, very much stronger that he would need in the upcoming future. As Naruto and Menma stood there, Menma believing that he stood a chance as the battle began, Naruto went on to taunt him the entire battle, taunting him and telling him how worthless he was, causing Menma to act. Naruto even allowed him to get a few punches in, before taunting him saying how weak he was. Menma tried to end Naruto's life, as Minato also noticed that as well. However, Naruto wouldn't allow him. The battle that followed was something that most of the children turned their eyes away. It was brutal. Extremely so, as Naruto proceeded to beat the living crap out of Menma. The battle was intense and vicious, as Naruto made Menma into a sniveling mess on the ground when he was done. However, Menma had an ace up his sleeve. He tapped into the power of the Kyuubi as he attacked Naruto. He got a few shots in, making Naruto bleed, as he even stabbed him in his side. However, Naruto's eyes became vicious, as he called upon the power inside of him. Both boys clashed in blood and bones and tearing ligaments. Once they came to an end, Menma was being held up by Naruto by the throat. Naruto sliced his arm off for a good measure as Menma screamed. Kushina's eyes went wide, everyone did. Naruto then proceeded to bash Menma's head into the ground and in the wall. As many thought that he would die, he blasted Menma through the wall. When he came back out, Menma was a sliveling mess, unable to speak, unable to move, barely conscious, as Naruto brought him up and told him that he was worthless. He then tossed Menma aside as the proctor called the match. The Kages were shocked by that display, however. They thought that they could use this. They could use this as their advantage to get what they want. That include using the boy to even destroy Konoha from the inside, as they saw the hatred that he had for his own siblings. That boy was much more than he seemed to be. As Kushina had rushed towards the ward where Menma was kept, arriving there, the doctors had worked on him. They were able to patch him up. He would survive. As Mitoa came inside, she was angry, as Kushina heard the way she spoke about her brother as well, that being Naruto, the hatred that she had in her tone. Mito had put aside her fear as she would make Naruto pay. She would make him regret this. But she was not the only one. Kurosaki had just waken up, as Tsubaki was by her side as she saw. Kurosaki was unable to open her left eye. Her body felt like it was torn apart. There was bandage all over her. Some of the scars would never fully heal, as she was a mess in the hospital. But she swore on her life that she would hunt Naruto down and make him pay by any means necessary. It did not take too long after that as the final match commenced. The final match was between Naruto and Sasuke. Sasuke was too arrogant for his own good, he thought. He stood a chance against Naruto. However, Naruto did not wish to kill him. Nor anyone yet. They deserve to suffer first. They deserve to go through agonizing pain first. Thus, he simply broke Sasuke by beating his arrogance down. And he destroyed him by knocking him out rather quickly, as he humiliated him even further. With that out of the way, Naruto was announced the winner. As he met up with his father, who was not pleased by his actions. But he was not that angry either. Menma should have been stronger. It just showed what a man his father was. As Naruto simply ignored the hate that was coming up, as he didn't want to lash out at the man, not just yet. As he promised Naruto that he will handle Kushina as long as he promised to never do something like this again. As Naruto promised that he would not. So with that out of the way, they returned back to the village. As for Masassa, she was rather sad. Her mother Konoha was able to see why she was sad. However, she denied it. However, her bond with Naruto was blatantly open. Maybe it was a memory view, and it must be. As it formed a connection between them, something that now she could not deny or could not discard. And she hated that because he did not give a damn about her. So she should not care about him. But maybe they would meet each other again in the future. So with that, a few days passed as Naruto decided to rendezvous at the point that Itachi told him to show up at. Naruto had to be cautious as he checked the entire place over and over, making sure there was no way possible that Itachi could use his own curiosity and his better judgment against him. After all, if he did not go, he had a feeling that Itachi would use this against him. He knew a lot that he should not, and Naruto was thinking about killing him. However, it would be hard to do so, but he could still find a way. But before that though, he had to go as Naruto spied him in the trees. Seeing something rather strange, Itachi coughed up blood. Now that was surprising, as Naruto never expected that, to Itachi to cough up blood. But Naruto could see it. The way he breathed, the way he carried himself. His trained eyes focused on one key factor about that. Itachi Uchiha was dying. As Naruto jumped down and said that, as Itachi told him that it was true. As Naruto could not understand, why would the last wish of a loyal Konoha shinobi to be to help him destroy the village? Itachi told him that there was a lot that he did not know, and if you wish to find them out, follow him. Naruto created an ice dagger as he followed behind him, making sure that he could kill him if anything went wrong. So yeah guys, basically as we left off, you guys can switch across to the playlist and check it out for yourself. And also, don't forget to go ahead and check the other what ifs on the other channels. So yeah, without further ado, or wasting more time, what do you say we jump right into this brand new episode begin now guys. We begin this episode at the Hidden Sand, inside a special hospital. Raza, the Kazekage, looked through a window. Inside of the room was Gaara. Several things were attached to him. He was breathing though. Since his battle at Chunin exams, he had been slipping in and out of consciousness. The doctor came out of the room. His quirk is still in contact, Kazekage-sama, the doctor said. Raza felt a feeling of relief wash over him hearing that. At first he thought that that boy, the Hokage's son, had stolen his son quirk. However, that was not the case. What is wrong with him? Because his injuries have healed up so far as I can see, Raza said. It's the power inside of him. More so the tail beast. It's become unstable. What? Said Raza. Oh, it's stabilizing, the doctor said, trying to calm his worries. However, what exactly happened in the fight? Did he tap into the power? Yes, he did. But why would that cause it to be unstable? I am not sure, the doctor said. However, from the last testing that we had, it seems much weaker. What do you mean? I believe it's possible. I don't know how, but is this child also able to steal the chakra of tail beasts? Raza's eyes went wide in hearing that, as the doctor showed him the file. There were a file from the last time that Gaara was tested, when he was being tested on his peak efficiency. And now this one. The chakra that resided inside of the seal was much weaker. Raza couldn't believe it. Not only was the child able to steal other people's quirk, but he can also steal the power of tail beasts. Just what has the Hidden Leaf birthed once again? Another monster. Meanwhile, at the Hidden Stone, Oniki sat behind his desk. His granddaughter Healing was coming along nicely. Yes, there will be several scars, especially one with her left eye, but still. She was coming along nicely. However, he could feel the hate and resentment she had when she spoke about that boy. Oniki wanted that boy Naruto dead, but he saw something that he can probably use. The boy had a lot of hatred, but it did not seem like it was only for his brother. It was like it was there for his entire family. He saw a small glimpse when he met his eyes with his father. Minato looking calm as ever, but there was a tweak in the boy's eyes. Oniki wasn't sure if he was seeing things right, but if that was the case, perhaps he could use it. At Kiri, he was disappointed with them all, yes, heavily so. All of the participants that he sent there proved to be nothing but a big disappointment as he sat behind his desk. Yagra's mind was also on that boy that could steal other people's quirks. He told the ninjas to have this being spread around, to be wary of that boy. He was not going to be surprised if, by the end of this day, his name was in the bingo book. Something like that is quite dangerous. Soon enough that boy would be on everyone's mind. The whole world would fear him, but also place a big target on his back. No one wants someone like that alive who could steal their quirks. However, they will also fear Konoha, who possessed this child as well. He slammed his fist down into his desk. Once again, Konoha was able to birth something that was gonna be the changer of the elemental nation. At Kumo, the Raikage was not pleased either. He was not pleased in the slightest. Time after time again, Konoha was always creating some kind of monster, whether it be the Hokages, the first Hokage said to possess the strongest quirk in history. And now this boy who could steal anyone's quirk. How much more dangerous will they get? But it was not just them though. At the Hinrin, she sat by herself in her room. She had recovered 100%. But here she was, as she was thinking about him. He is going to die. Masassa was 100% certain about that. Yes, he will die very soon. She saw it in his mind, she felt his drive. She could feel it, he did not care for his own life. He was going to attack Konoha. Yes, he's going to make a big move. She was not sure when or how, but he will attack Konoha. Even with the power that he possessed, all of them against him, he's going to be killed. But she didn't want that. She knew what her parents were trying to do. Naruto could be a big part of that. Only if he wasn't so goddamn stubborn. But then again, when she thought about it, he had nothing to live for. The only two people that he ever cared for were dead. So to him, nothing was important in this world. Even though his quirk could help the organizations her parents had formed rather greatly. But no, he was too stubborn to be able to trust anyone. He did not trust anyone or see anyone as his allies. She's been through his memories and understand his feelings, so she knew that much about him, that was certain. And it doesn't seem to matter how much time she talked to him or tried to convince him otherwise. He was not going to change the path that he was currently on. And that was going to lead to his death. Something that she rather not see be fulfilled in the end. Someone like him deserved to live in the world that her parents see, that her parents dreamed for. A world without discrimination of people with or without quirks. A world without violence, a world without people thinking that they're superior just because they possess a quirk stronger than the other. A world without senseless wars. And Naruto's very existence was going to cause a world war very soon. The world would not stand for someone who was able to steal other people's quirks. And that man, Minato Namikaze, he might look harmless on the outside, like a calm, gentle man, but he was nothing but a snake. A cruel, wicked snake, who would do whatever it takes to make sure his village is always number one, even if it means cutting down anyone and anything that is close to him. And that is what she feared the most. And Naruto was the closest who hated him with every fiber of his being. She sighed, and there was nothing that she could do about it. As she leaned back in her bed. Time skip. It was nighttime at Konoha, as Naruto slowly followed behind the Uchiha. Itachi was walking, as he took Naruto towards a forest area. However, Naruto knew this place. Having read a lot when he was younger, Naruto knew exactly where they were. This place was the old settlements between the Uchiha and the Senju clan. It was said that this place was a location where both clans came together. and talk about the betterment, the future for all of them and their young generation. As Naruto saw several dilapidated stone walls that had worn over through time. He saw the broken crumbled pieces with the mark of the Senju and the mark of the Uchiha. Itachi stopped right in the middle of that as he sat down on a stone slab. He was rather convincing. If he didn't want you to know that he was sick, you would not. As Naruto looked towards him, I told you that I would explain things, and why my actions seem strange to you. But once I do, you will understand. Will you give me the time to do so? Itachi asked. However, Naruto did not talk in the slightest. Itachi chuckled a bit. I see. You're worried about my quirk. Well, let me explain. My quirk is rather powerful. If I'm having a conversation with someone, and you actively reply to me, and talk back to me, I can control you. With my mere words. Telling you what to do. Asking you things that you would never reveal to anyone else. Secrets that you would have never told a single soul. My quirk is brainwashing. So I'm sure by that you can understand that. Because of my quirk, I'm rather important to the village as a whole. I'm rather a useful tool, he said. Naruto heard the way he said that with disgust. However, inflicting pain upon yourself, or for one to inflict pain upon you, it could disarm my quirk. And it will not reactivate unless a person speaks to me once again. So there you have it, the drawback of my quirk, Itachi said. Other than that, I can tell my opponents anything to do. Now, that you know exactly what is my quirk, can we have a proper conversation, Itachi asked. As Naruto looked at him with scrutinizing eyes. Why are you helping me? Naruto finally asked. Good, Itachi said. At least you're speaking. I had a friend once. His name was Shizue Uchiha. Naruto's eyes narrowed. Ah, so you heard of him? Yes, I did. Tell me, how did he die? Itachi asked. He was killed by enemy shinobis, I heard. That is what you heard, huh? Well, that is what they led you to believe. You see, Naruto, this village, no, this entire world is not what it seems to be. I've been a ninja for some time now, and I was able to witness what the world truly is made of. Seeing places where people without quirks are treated like garbage, it turns my stomach. People being killed because they does not possess a quirk. Mothers treating their children like garbage. Fathers abandoning their children. Family members killing one another because they bring shame to them. I've watched you for a long time, you know. It was a good thing that you were able to stay as you are right now despite what you've been through. Given the way that you were raised, I believe that you would have grown a lot differently, but I suppose that this is the best that we could have gotten. Naruto was confused by what he was talking about. As he looked towards him. Now, as I was saying, I've seen many times on countless occasions as people are killed for simply not possessing a quirk. However, these times are also within this village. Naruto narrowed his gaze at hearing that. People being used and sent to, well, be slaughtered because they're not useful. Because they don't possess a quirk. It's almost like they're not alive. Like they're some sort of abomination. This world that we live in is truly messed up. And it's broken. I'm afraid it's too far gone to be saved anymore. That is why I want you to destroy it. Naruto blinked in shock. You want me to destroy the world? Yes, in a sense. You see, Naruto, I was there that night. You were where? Said Naruto. That night when you lost your friend, Keo. What? Let me explain, Itachi said. You know my younger brother Sasuke Uchiha. I'm afraid I've even lost him, and my own parents as well, to the hatred of this world. However, despite you not knowing it, I saw you. I saw the way that my brother and your own brother and sister treated you. It hurt my heart every time they did so. and I could not even lift a finger to help you. However, I always watched you from the shadows. You were one of the few that had what it really means to be a ninja. Despite everything against you, you trained. You got stronger. You and your friends were a group that was gonna rise to the ranks and become something great. To move away from all of this. To be together as friends, and nothing would change that. Naruto was surprised he never saw this guy ever before watching him. But he supposed back then he wouldn't have. On that night, I arrived too late. When I did, KO was on the ground. I wanted to see how you were doing after the whole graduation. To know that you three were at least happy would soothe my soul. However, the sight that I came across was horrendous. I saw you in a fit of rage and stole Mizuki's quirk. It was much later I was able to find out that your own father sent Mizuki to kill you. Itachi looked at Naruto's face, and judging by the look on your face, you already know that. I presume Orochimaru found a way for you to find out. You know about him as well? As I said, I've been watching you for quite some time now, Naruto, Itachi said. Yes, he gave me a quirk, said Naruto, watching Itachi carefully. Good. I'm glad you know all of this. I thought I might have to deliver all the bad news. However, seeing that you know that, you probably already know that your father now wanted you to be only loyal to him, and for you to see him as a lifeline that you never had. So he plotted for your friend Ami to die. Naruto clenched his fists. I see. You already know that as well, Itachi said. I'm sorry, he said. Why are you apologizing, said Naruto. You're not the one that caused any of this. I know. But you had to go through so much, and right now, your heart is filled with so much hate. So much festering darkness that I don't think anything would ever change that. Now, the reason why I'm helping you. I told you that I want you to destroy this world. However, not in the way that you might think. You see, Naruto, what happened when you face off against that boy Jinchuriki, Gaara? You stole his power, didn't you? You are still able to wield sand to an extent, despite not stealing his quirk, is that correct? Do you know what it means? Naruto asks. Yes, I believe I do. You see, I've been able to gather some old texts that dated far back to the time of the Sage of Six Paths, the man who was said to have given this world quirks. It is said that he fought a monster. I am not sure what this monster is, but I believe that this monster is connected to all of the Bijus. Tell me, when you steal the power from Gaara, what did you felt? I felt a connection. 9 of them. Does this mean? Exactly, Itachi said. Glad that his studies were true. The tail beasts are all connected. They're all connected to the quirk that we wield. You see, Naruto, I believe if you are able to steal the power from the tail beasts, you can rid this world of quirks. You can erase them, taking away all semblance of power, completely destroying and changing society itself. I believe that is the only way, after hundreds of years, that the world can finally be at a new sense of peace and prosperity. You want me to take away everyone's quirk, said Naruto, surprised how close that was to his own plan. Exactly. And now you have a way to do it. It will be impossible for you to go around and try to steal everyone's quirk manually. However, I believe that you can take all of them at once, if you are able to gather all the tail beast's power. I know that this will be difficult. Very, very difficult. But I believe it can be done. But in order to do so, you will need to be strong. And you can't trust Orochimaru. I know his offer might seem good to you, but it's not. In the future, he will screw you over. You have to find your own path, your own way. I know that you find it hard to trust people, but that girl, the one that you spoke to at the sports festival, I believe she can also help you. I'm not sure exactly what her and her family has going on, but it's something big. I believe they also want to see this world change as well. I believe that your plan and theirs coexist together in order to bring a better world. I'm not sure the extent of their plan though, but that is something for you to find out. However, before that, you have to get stronger to be prepared what the world has to throw at you. Because you won't be facing Konoha alone, but the entire elemental nation. You know that by me doing this, good people also die as well. There will be a lot of collateral destruction, said Naruto. I know that, but I've already made my peace with that. The world is too broken right now. Even the ones that try to live in peace are still hounded, like they're not humans. However, through destruction there shall be rebuilding and then peace. It will take long. I believe a few hundred years. Far in the future, but at least there is a chance of us saving this world from completely dooming itself. You've really thought this over, haven't you? Yes. I've been thinking about this for a while now. So do you intend to give me your quirk? Naruto asks. I'm afraid I can't do that. Why not? Said Naruto. Another reason why I've decided to help you in your endeavor. I told you about my friend Shisui, correct? Naruto nodded. Well, he did not die by any missing ninjas. You see, the reason why you only know his name and yet do not know anything about his quirk is quite simple. While I am able to control someone with their words, he is able to control you with a gaze. What? Said Naruto. Hypnotism. Yes, he can control your mind with a simple gaze. His quirk is one of the most powerful I ever saw. While it might not be a fighting offensive quirk, in terms of going up against multiple opponents, even to cast an illusion to compel their mind under one single control, it's quite effective. You mean he can just look at you and control you? Exactly. One of the rarest I've seen in a very long while, other than yours of course. Complete hypnotism. And because of that many fear him. They fear what he would do with his quirk. Shisui had lost his mother and father at a very young age. Despite being in the Uchiha clan, he was alone. There was no blood right family except for his clan. I believe that I was his only friend. His mindset was a lot like mine's, but a bit more cynical. He saw the world in a way from when he was much younger. He saw the world for what truly broken way it is. That is why he tried to help. By helping and stopping the injustice that was done in Konoha. The last straw was actually you. Me? Said Naruto. Yes. He found me spying on you one day. He saw the treatment that you receive. The neglect. That is why he decided to make a move and use his quirk to control the Hokage to change things. He wanted to help me? Said Naruto. Exactly, Itachi said. However, your father was able to get away. Being a man of many seals, Shisui was not able or properly able to go up against him without being caught. All he was trying to do was to help. But for that, he was taken. He wasn't killed. No. Actually, I was the one to kill him. What? Said Naruto. You see, Naruto, recently I discovered some missing memories of mine. What do you mean? On the day that I killed Shisui, he was able to open my mind and break the seal that they had over me. A seal? Yes. You see, by the time I found Shisui, by the time I was actually able to find him by doing some things that would be looked as traitorous to the village, by even killing people of this village to find him. He was in an underground facility. Your father called it the room. The room is where he experiments on kids. What? Said Naruto. I see you did not know about this. Your father took some of your blood. He took some of your DNA when he just found about your quirk. Yes, I know that, said Naruto. What about this room? Well, it's quite simple. I was able to find Shisui in there, but by the time I found him, he was begging for death. The things that they did. Your father and a man known as Danzo Shamira is trying to find a way to replicate, to produce these quirks. You see, they are orphan children that Danzo has been able to gather. There are a lot of them. He was able to gather them. They're complete blank slates, having no home, having no family. They're just children. All they know is the room. For a long time now, your father and Danzo has been monitoring their quirks and developing them to become an extreme force of ninjas for Konoha that could wipe out any other nation within minutes. Some of them having extremely powerful quirks. However, what truly goes on in the room is experiments. Several noteworthy scientists and doctors experiment on these kids and Shisui as well. For a very long time now, your father and Danzo has tried to find a way to take, even replicate other people's quirk. They tried the same for Shisui. However, they were never able to pull something like this off. You're the only one in history that I know is able to do something like this. Yes, there has been others like Orochimaru. Yes, I know about him as well. While I don't have much on him, I know that he's somehow able to replicate others' quirk. He takes over their body, said Naruto. I see, Itachi said. Your father and Danzo does not know how to do that themselves in order to achieve what they want in that area, so they will never get it. However, they experiment. They try to break Shisui's mind, but because of his quirk, his mind is quite resilient. The things that they did to him was horrifying. When I found him, he begged for me to end his life. And I had to. It was the only way to save him from that. But before I did, he unlocked a few memories of mine when I was younger. It turns out that me and several of the kids my own age were taken to this room when we were younger. They did not experiment on us, but they took everything necessary in order to replicate our DNA, to perhaps make clones of us. Does your father know about this? Naruto asks. That's the funny part. He authorized it. What? Yes, that's right, your father isn't the only asshole of a father around here. He wanted strong Uchihas to make the clan proud again, so he wasn't above allowing them to even experiment on me if it meant that happening, believing that it would be a great contribution to the clan. You see, despite the tight friendship that my father and the Hokage seem to has, my father has always believed in clan first and village second. So if it will help the Uchiha clan become great again, seeing that our numbers and our quirks have been getting weak over the years, well, they will happily do it so. And I'm sure that he knew about Shisui as well. But seeing that Shisui possesses a quirk that not even he can defeat, and Shisui was not one to follow his ideals, he wanted the boy gone. So your father willingly did this to his own family as well. His own Uchiha family. Exactly. Now you can see how truly broken this world is. I'm afraid there is no saving it. It just has to be destroyed. And I believe you are the one that can do so, Itachi said. You still didn't tell me why you were dying. Oh, I was infected in the room. A poison that not even I was able to escape after ending Shisui's life. I tried to escape, but I got dosed. It was an automatic system that was set up by your father using Fuinju to stop any person that tried to sneak in or sneak out. He doesn't want this coming to life after all. Little by little, this poison is eating away at my body, my organs. I'm not sure how though. It's also somehow attached itself to my chakra, killing me from the inside. That is why you cannot take my quirk, because if you do, the poison will come to me as well, said Naruto. Exactly. Itachi then walked towards the center of the area. He went through hand sign before his palm started to glow. He then slammed his hand down. Upon doing that, 3 coffins rose out of the ground. These are something I stored here. Something I stole from the room. You stole these? What are they? And how did you summon them, said Naruto. Oh, they're simply containment seals. The coffins fell. As they fell to the ground, Itachi pushed the lid off the show. Dummies. Naruto was confused. The skin was... Naruto poked it, the skin was actually real. That confused him greatly. What are these? Their face did not have any nose, eyes or anything, but their skin was real. They did not have any genitals either. He was confused. Remember I told you that your father took our DNAs to make clones. Yeah, said Naruto. These are 3 of them. Tell me, a few months back, do you remember seeing your father extremely angry? As Naruto tried to rack his brain. Now that you say that, yes. Do you know what it was about? Well, that was me. Because of me sneaking in and destroying a huge part of the room that he has. I killed over 35 children. Naruto blinked. What? I had to. They were only going to be used and tested upon. I had to free them. Itachi said, coughing. It's getting worse, he said, as there was a lot of blood in his hand. He sat back down, pure sadness on his face. They were all innocent. However, the things they were going to be used for, I knew I had to. I destroyed several of these things that you see in the coffins. These clones. That one there. The first one. That's a clone of the first Hokage, Hashirama Senju. What? Said Naruto. So you're telling me, if they have all of these, why don't they bring them alive? Well, that's easy. You see, they can replicate the chakra, which, to an extent I believe, bring over the quirk to the clones, because of the DNA and the chakra, and their cells. However, they cannot bring them alive. Well, they can, but the last time they did so, what came alive was an abomination that just wanted destruction. They've been able to create clones, but when they try to replicate other people's chakra by doing so, by making them out of completely synthetic clones, they become monsters. However, infused in another with another quirk is possible, but it is severely weaker. I'm sure you remember Yamato. Yes, my former sensei, said Naruto, clenching his fist. That's right. He was one of the first. However, he was a failure. Despite possessing a tiny fraction of what the first Kage could do, he had to wield hand signs while doing them in majority of the stronger techniques, which are still weak in comparison. What your father wanted was a 100% clone, because Yamato was real before that. He was just experimented upon. Your father doesn't want that. It's a mockery to what he actually wants. An army of super-powered quirk users. So he saved these, until he could find a way for his research to bring them alive. Exactly. So skin, muscle, bone, tissues, cells, they're inside of them. And their chakra. So they're basically stuck in a life and death state, said Naruto. Yes. Who are the other 2, Naruto asks. That second one there belongs to Madara Uchiha. Madara Uchiha of my clan was said to possess the strongest fire quirk in history. A quirk that is unparalleled to any other fire. Quirk that has come up through the ages, none of them reaching the heights of what he was able to reach. What about the other one? That I do not know. These 3 were kept away from the others. While I was able to destroy several of the others, I'm sure yours was in the era that I destroyed as well, and Shisui and mine as well. However, these 3 was kept away. 3 of the perhaps strongest, but that one, I am not sure what it was. The label that was there was torn off. There was nothing to read. This one was being kept a big secret. So it's something rare, said Naruto. Maybe even something not from this village. Perhaps. It will be up to you if you want to take it or not. The chances of this going bad are rather large as well, with us not knowing what it is. Tuh. I do not fear risk, said Naruto as he placed his hand on the unknown one. I take them. Suddenly the black marking spread out as Naruto felt it. The cells rushing into his body, the chakra, adding on to his own. It slammed into him like a train. He took a moment as he staggered back. Steam started to leave his hands. Naruto was confused. He never felt this way, and this happened after taking a quirk. Naruto did not feel anything though. What happened? Itachi asked. I'm not sure. I don't feel anything, said Naruto. Maybe this does not work, because they're clones. Try the others. Naruto went to the Madara clone and started to absorb. Once he was done, it took him a moment as he had to relax. Once he was back to his feet, Naruto held his hand out. Fire exploded out in his palm. I guess that one was defective, said Naruto as he blasts the fire at it, burning it to a crisp. Naruto had to shake his hand off as he almost got burned. He was not used to this quirk yet, but he will get used to it. Now for the last one. Naruto rested his hand on the head of the Hashirama clone and absorbed. Once he started, Naruto felt something strange. His eyes went white. Naruto found himself floating in a strange area. Something was wrong though. He was supposed to be in an era filled with life and nature. He could feel it, but something wrapped around his waist and dragged him. It was like the entire world was made of glass. Everything started to shatter and decay and destroy. Naruto blinked as he was back in the real world. What happened? Itachi said as Naruto was on his hands and knees, breathing heavily. I don't know, said Naruto. I was taking Hashirama's quirk and then I'm not sure. Did it work? Itachi asked. Naruto held his hand out to the grass as the thing extended. A grin came on Naruto's face as he grabbed onto it. Yes, it did, he said. A smile came on Itachi's face. I am sorry that was all I was able to offer. Don't apologize. This was more than enough. More than enough that I could ever even dream of, said Naruto. You've done me a great service. I shall repay you by killing you. Itachi smiled as he dropped down to his knees. It will be my honor to be killed by someone like you, he said. Make sure that my body is not found. As Naruto nodded. You know, he said, stepping behind the Uchiha. I don't trust anyone in this world anymore. But if you were not dying, I believe that you and I could be friends. I believe so as well, Naruto, he said. Be strong. Protect yourself out there. And change this world. It is my final wish. Naruto knew that he could not live with the guilt anymore of what he had done. The children, even though he had done it for a good reason. And the man was broken. Too far gone. He saw the world and it was something he could not fix. He lost faith in his brother, his father, his entire clan, the entire village. Thank you, said Naruto. It's been a long time since he thanked anyone. You're welcome, Itachi said. Stab. The ice spike drive right through Itachi's back, piercing his heart. His final moment was one of relief. As he took his last breath, a happy smile on his face, as he fell dead. As Naruto looked down towards him, before he closed his eyes, he actually felt sorry for that act. There were people like him out there that was just as broken. Itachi was one of them. However, he believed in his dreams. His determination skyrocketed towards a new area to now achieve what he wants. His mind then went on someone. Masassa, he said. At the hidden rain, her eyes snapped open as she pulled herself up out of bed. What the hell? She looked around. She heard him. Where did that voice came from? It sounds like Naruto? Back with Naruto, he paused. Someone called his name. There was no mistaking that voice. He heard it so much at the sports festival, but she wasn't here. Wait, their mental connection. Could they possibly still have it? Naruto wondered. But she was all the way back in the hidden rain. He still had no idea what happened between the both of them. When she was able to read his memories and he was able to feel her feelings. As he now thought back on them, every time he was able to speak to her, he felt the sadness that she felt for him. That angered him though. He didn't want anyone pity. So why? Why was he thinking about her so much? As Naruto started to walk, he had a lot to do. As for Orochimaru, if he thinks that he will trust him, he's got another thing coming. But he will use him though, and then after that, he will kill him. However, he had to make contact with him. He was leaving Konoha, and soon. Time skip. 2 weeks later, Menma Namikaze sat on his bed. There was a scar running down from his left eye, from the forehead going down towards his cheek, as he seemed to turn to the side at the last end. It was when Naruto nails had slashed him across the face. Not even his Uzumaki healing was able to heal that. The doctors had said that it was a miracle that he did not lose his eye. Maybe it was because he was the 9-tail holder and a Uzumaki as well. As the corrosive chakra in Naruto nails was not normal at all. It was because Naruto had sucked the 1-tails and 9-tails chakra and used it, unconsciously though, and slashed him, so it had carved into his face. As Menma looked towards his arm, there was no back. Yes, as Minato had said, Quirks have brought civilization to another level. Regaining one's arm was not that hard, but it wasn't his arm, was it? No, it was not his arm. It was a metal arm, created for him. The metal could channel chakra through it, but it was wrapped in bandages. He could move it as normal, but still it was not his arm. His arm had been sliced off, a humiliation that would never go away because it was on him. His mother had been worried about him. She had been by his bedside. She did not understand the animosity, as the both of them seemed to want to kill each other, but what Naruto did, she was upset. However, throughout this entire time, Naruto had found a way to get away from her, to not see her, and now she wanted to see him. But Minato had spoken to her saying that he was afraid to talk to her, given what he did to Menma. Naruto did not say that, of course, but Minato was just trying to cool things between them. As Menma heard a chirp as he looked through his window, seeing a bird, as he raised his metal arm, clenching it with great anger, he failed. Naruto's words rang in his head deep. You're worthless. You're not important anymore. No one cares about you. Yes, they hurt him deeply, and they were something that he could not get over. However, this just inspired his hate even more. He wanted to kill Naruto. He wanted him dead. He has been spending most time inside, despite the efforts of his friends, and also his sister as well. He just didn't want to see anyone right now, he just wanted to be by himself. He was angry, he was frustrated. The loss that he received from Naruto was not only humiliated, but it broke something inside of him. Yes, it broke something inside of him. Something he was not sure that he could recover from that easily. And his anger just would not go away. His rage would not subside no matter what. As he took several deep breaths, the only way his anger might probably be quelled was if he was able to strike down Naruto and end his miserable life. That was perhaps the only way, he thought to himself. However, that didn't seem to be close anytime soon, and he did not know when he would gain the strength to do so, seeing that he was unable to defeat that quirkless loser as he clenched his fist tightly. Later that night, as Kushina had prepared a huge meal for everyone, Naruto has been saying that he has already eaten and keep on avoiding her. However, she wants to sort this out immediately. She wants to get everything back on track. She knew that it might be hard to heal, but she wants to get everything back. She wants to return their family as it was. She just wanted peace between their family members. Mito and Menma were angry at Naruto, yes, for what he did. She was also upset for him going that extreme. That is why she wanted to talk to him. She wanted to solve all of this. She was adamant on all of them showing up, including Minato. She would not stand for all of them not being here. As Naruto, who she had been able to catch while he was going out, saying that he would be here for dinner, so they could finally talk. She had to solve this, and immediately. It did not take too long for Mito to arrive, as she was out with her friends. She told Mito to go and get Menma, as Menma arrived some moments later, looking in a bad mood as he always did for the past couple of weeks now. Minato had said that the arm was fully functional and everything was alright, but still, she knew that he was not happy with it, as she had to speak to Naruto as well while Menma was here. She waited. Minato arrived, surprisingly early, as he too seemed to want to fix the tenseness that has been going through their family for some time now. As he came over and kissed his wife on the cheek, she was angry at him at first for the way that he spoke about things, saying that Menma was unable to keep up. However, he had apologized, and they had talked things out. Now they were back on good terms. As he saw his daughter and ruffled her hair. "Come on, Dad, I'm not a kid anymore," she said, slapping away his hand. As he looked towards Menma, however, Menma was not pleased to see him. He wasn't happy, believing that his father was taken the side of Naruto in all of this, despite Minato not saying that outright. His father never came to visit him when he was at the hospital at a sports festival. He only saw him when he was brought back to Konoha, and the replacement arm was given to him. Menma was not happy with him either. Did his father really discarded him for Naruto? That was something that he just could not stand for. "Where's your brother?" he said, looking towards Menma as he spoke, perhaps trying to get Menma to talk about Naruto at least in a normal sense. Or perhaps he was just trying to piss him off, Menma thought to himself. Menma was about to say something until, "I'm right here." They all turned as they saw Naruto. Kushina smiled. "Naruto," she said, "come, have a seat." "Before that, I would like to speak to you all about something," said Naruto. "What is it?" asked Minato, looking towards him. "I hate you all," said Naruto. Menma got to his feet as he clenched his fists. Naruto turned towards him. "Make one more move, and I'll remove the other arm." "Just strike, you bastard." The one to speak up was actually Mito, standing by Menma's side. She would not allow him to bully any of them. "Naruto," said Minato in a serious tone. "Oh, be quiet," said Naruto. "It's over. Can't you see that?" "What's over?" said Kushina. "The facade. The trickery. Are you people blind? Do you think that I cared about any of you? Remember, at least try to, how I was treated before all of this. There was only 2 people in this world that I actually cared about, and they're both dead now. For my entire life, you, my so-called mother, treated me like I was a object in this house. Like I was not important because I didn't have a quirk. And when my so-called father called me an embarrassment, you agree with him. Because you are," said Menma. "You think you're just gonna get away with saying all of this?" "Shut the hell up," said Naruto. "I'm not gonna say it again. And let me talk. This is my time now, not yours. Not any of yours. You people are nothing but monsters. You've treated me like garbage for my entire life. You, that claim to be a mother who protect her kids, care for them. You're nothing but a cold-hearted bitch." Minato got up, but Naruto slammed his feet down. Upon him doing that, a ceiling array spread around the entire table, as the images were distorted, so they could not see outside of the ceiling array that wrapped around them. "Is this a barrier?" said Mito. Kushina still in disbelief and shocked to what Naruto just said. "Oh, trust me, you're not gonna break out of that until the time is up. Or if you do, I only need a few seconds." "What are you doing?" said Minato. "Release us now." "No, not until I'm done," said Naruto. "As I was saying, I hate every single one of you. I despise you with all I have. And I'm not gonna stop until every one of you suffer." Kushina had tears in her eyes. "Don't you dare cry, you heartless bitch. I've cried myself to sleep 1,000 times before. It's not wise for you to cry right now after all the things you've done to me." "Naruto, shut your mouth," said Minato. Or else what? What exactly are you gonna do? Kill me?" Place me in a lab and run tests on me? Well, that's too late. You see, the day I return back to this village, I'm gonna make you all suffer. And then I'm gonna kill you all. Mito, Menma, Minato, Kushina. Remember my words. I am going to kill every single one of you. Your suffering has just begun. Looks like I'm out of chakra. The seal started to fade as the chakra was running out of the clone that was standing there. However, I'm leaving with a small parting gift. Remember what I've said. Menma shot forward as he slammed a fist in Naruto's face. Poof! Naruto was gone. Boom! An explosion rung through the entire village. Minato rushed towards the window and leaped through. As fire and brimstone started to rain down on the village, the monument had exploded, causing fire and brimstone to rain throughout the village. "What have you done?" said Minato, as he glanced up towards the destruction and people running around in panic as he clenched his fists. As Kushina had collapsed to her knees after hearing all of that. Was that really Naruto who said that? Mito was shocked. Menma grit his fists as he turned towards his mother. "Now you see? He's the monster. He's the one that deserved to die." "Menma, that's enough," said Minato as he arrived back inside. "Your mother has already heard enough. You two stay here with your mother. I have to go and handle the situation." "Stay with her," he said, looking towards Menma. As he looked towards Kushina, who was crying, as he proceeded to flash away. Meanwhile that was going on, a far distance away from Konoha, Naruto was walking. He had already left the village some time ago. After all, he knew that he could not do something like that while he was in the village. He had already got what he wanted though. He had to tie up some loose ends before he had to leave. He was sure that his father would see them by now. Back at Konoha, Minato arrived to all the destruction as he saw two pike. There were two heads on top of them, one being of Yamato and one being of Sai. The two that he had sent to get rid of that girl, so that he could get Naruto under his control. He knew. He knows. Minato thought to himself. To make matters worse, carved into their forehead, on Sai's head was the word I, and on Yamato's head, no. I know. Minato was in a state of panic. Naruto has left the village, leaving a boom. Minato was cut off as another explosion went off. The Hokage's tower went up in a boom, exploding as it fell, crushing the buildings beneath it. There was destruction and chaos everywhere, people running for their life. Everyone started to panic, fearing the next explosion, as Minato flashed and started to save people, blurring them out of sight and teleporting them away. He came to a stop as he looked around to see someone. He flashed up ahead as he saw Naruto standing there. "Don't get too antsy, I'm just a clone." "Why are you doing this?" said Minato despite already knowing why. "Oh come on no, father. You already know why," said Naruto. "Father, what a ridiculous term to call someone like you. You've never been a father to me until you know I could offer you something. But there's another reason why you should fear me coming back here. Because the next time I do step foot in this village, I will break you. You don't have to worry about the people here. I won't kill them. There's only a handful of people that are on my list, you being one of them at the very top, and several others, but not everyone here will die. Those chaos there was just how far my extension reach, how far my anger reach." "You know," said Minato. "I know. Of course I know. All the things that you've done, all the things that you plot, to even plot for your own son's demise. What kind of man are you? Can you even call yourself a father?" "Naruto, don't Naruto me. Show the real side of you." "Fine," said Minato, as his mood seemed to complete the switch. "Stop this, because if you don't, the only outcome is me hunting you down and ending your life." As Naruto started to laugh, Now that's the man I was looking for. The heartless monster. But you made a mistake, father. You helped me. You helped me gain strength that I'm going to use to erase you. To make you suffer. To make sure that every walking moment of your life is agony. I promise you of that. I'll make you watch as I kill them all in the end. And then I will come for your life. Just remember that, said Naruto. Before he poofed away, Minato's eyes hardened. Naruto couldn't have been the one to destroy his facility, the room. No, he couldn't have reached that far. He was not that skilled. But someone was. He had been keeping things under tight wrap ever since that day. So Naruto was working with someone else. And Itachi Uchiha was missing. Things were getting out of his control, but he couldn't allow them to stay that way. He has to fix things. He always feared the outcome of Naruto actually doing this. Now he will have to kill his own son. With his own hands. But guys, be end subscribe right here. If once the next part and do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. But I'm off now. See you guys soon. Peace.